Hey investors, this is Doug Ehrman, contributor here at Seeking Alpha, talking to you today about how the iPhone 5C misses one critical mark. On September 10th, Apple rolled out its new family of iPhones, including the cheaper iPhone 5C. Now, the cheap iPhone, as it had become to be known, had drawn diametrically opposing views from different camps. One group believed that a cheap iPhone would hurt Apple's margins and would tarnish the company's image as being a premium product provider. The other group argued that a cheap iPhone would allow Apple to seek growth in the emerging markets and would drive sales sufficiently to warrant the hit that margins potentially would take. Now, while the iPhone 5C, which is, quote, unapologetically plastic, has a certain appeal, priced at $99 with a contract and $549 without a contract in the US, the pricing seems confusing at best and foolish at worst. With a contract, one runs the risk that with a $100 savings, people who are considering the 5S might choose the cheaper 5C, thus cannibalizing sales. And abroad, Reuters is reporting that in China, for example, the phone is expected to retail for roughly $733 US. What this means is that the phone, even as a cheap iPhone, is hardly affordable to anyone but the wealthiest Chinese, and this means that throughout the emerging markets, Apple is choosing, even with its, quote, cheap phone, to remain a premium product. Investors have been generally disappointed, and the stock's price has been hurt as a result, as well as having received several downgrades, largely based on the pricing decision of the 5C. Important to note, IDC estimates that in 2013, roughly 2/3 of smartphones will be shipped to China, India, and other emerging market countries, relative to just over 40% in 2010. Clearly, this is the growth area in the smartphone business, and while Apple is still one of the most profitable companies in smartphones, and that's definitely worth noting, the growth that most industry experts believe will come from emerging markets, and Apple seems to have really turned its back on this area. While I'm not advocating selling the stock here, I certainly wouldn't be a buyer of it until the dust settles or until the price dips below at least $450 per share. Ultimately, Apple remains a great company and a strong one, and the sell-off that this negative reaction to the 5C has caused has the potential to actually create a buying opportunity. So I would remain vigilant, watch the shares, and look for a spot, because if Apple continues to fall, there's definitely a strong argument that shares are an increasingly good value as the PE drops below 12 and potentially down as low as 10.5 in the near term. Thanks for listening.